third race weekend of the BMW IBSF Bobsleigh and Skeleton World Cup season. We're in Altenberg in Germany, the first of two trips to this track just south of Dresden. We'll be back here in a fortnight's time. But before all of that, we have one final heat to get out of the way, and it is the second and deciding heat of the four-man bobsleigh. 20 sleds will go against the mountain and against the clock in the battle for silver. Behind our first heat leader, John Morgan, it's going to be an interesting tussle for the medals as well.
Yeah, Team Gajtukovic, he won a bronze medal yesterday, Martin, his first ever, and this young Russian pilot had the fourth best start time, drove well on this track, Martin, and the Russians have a history of doing well on this Altenberg track way back 20 years ago with Popov and Zubkov. And hey, they're chasing down Team Benny Meyer from Austria. Well, no surprise here. He won the silver medal on this track last year at the World Championships. He's really good with the equipment. He's got great eyes and hands. Only the seventh best start time, so he's got to be perfect on the way down. And guess who they're all chasing? Team Friedrich. Well, we've had 15 heats of bobsledding so far this year, 2 and 4. He's won 13 of the 15 so far. He had 2 third-place finishes. He's won every event. Martin, he's 39 hundredths ahead of the rest of the field, and second through 9 is separated by 39 hundredths. Again, he's on another planet.
It is just a very, very different track for him compared to everybody else. But even his run was definitely not perfect. As you say, Benny Meyer narrowly ahead of Rostislav Gajtukovic, who only just squeezed out his own teammate Maxim Antonov, his former driver. And the battle from bronze to 11th is covered by just about 0.4 of a second. So some fantastic racing action coming up. Hunter Church, Eva de Brown, Davis Kaufmanis don't get a second run. Cody Bascu will be off first. Our start draw goes from 20 down to 1. Both heats count. The cumulative time decides who wins, loses or draws. And there are draws occasionally on this track. More drivers and the rest of the team limbering up as final preparations are completed on the sleds. On what is a fairly overcast afternoon, Francesco Frisia was hoping it was going to be a bit bright and sunny so that they could attack the track record that was set back in the Worlds in 2008, but that's not going to happen this time out. There's the French crew getting ready with their start. Mihai Tentea. So the start draw then with Cody Bascu, 20th in the first heat. He goes away first. 700ths ahead of him, Lamin Dean. Some fairly small margins in the field. Roman Heinrich, Marcus Treichel just 100th apart. 300ths covering Yun Jong-won, Patrick Baumgartner and Seaman Friedley, who were tied. And then in the lead group from Brad Hall, 6600ths back to Benny Meyer, 3600ths back. That is 11th up to second, covered by 3/10. Race 3 of the BMW IBSF four-man bobsleigh World Cup in Altenberg, Germany. Second and deciding heat, John Morgan and Martin Haber watching the action as Cody Bascu and his crew get ready to start the action.
Nick Taylor on the brakes, his debut of the season. That's Alana Myers-Taylor's better half. These guys are in down, really good efficiency, 5:26 start, but the start in the first run was a little suspect. Martin, 18th best start overall with a 27. I think that's why Cody's back here. He's got a little bit more experience on this track. His teammate Hunter Church got limited experience on this track. He finished 21st. Won't make a second run.
Because it's been a World Championship track for the last couple of years, a lot of the athletes have got good recent experience. But
Cody 14th and 12th in the first 2 World Cups in Innsbruck, and why that was a little early on that 11-12 combination. This track has got so many gremlins in it across the, I mean, it's got its own personality, that's for sure. 54.95. That's 30 hundredths better than his first run, Martin. But of course, he went late in the first run.
It looked a tidier drive as well, so I wonder just how the track is changing.
Blaine McConnell's from Tacoma, Washington. Carlo Valdez, he's a West Coast guy. Look at this picture in the 11-12. He got over there a little too quick. That ended up causing this skid, but he corrected pretty well. This was a better run.
It definitely was.
Cody than it was
the first heat. Yeah, that would have left him in 15th place rather than down where he was in 20th. Lamindine was just 700ths quicker with Ryan Letts, Joel Fearon and Ben Simons on the sled. Joel Fearon raced for a season for Switzerland a couple of years back.
How about how fast Fearon is? What do you would like the top 3 ever?
He had set the 3rd fastest 100-meter time ever by a British athlete. I believe that's now the 4th fastest time, but nevertheless, not slow. Don't challenge him to a foot race anytime soon.
See how they get in, get down with efficiency, quickly. No hanging around, no skid, big skid,
big trouble.
5:29. They didn't beat the Americans there, and of course the velocity's way off. You know, he's got a little bit of a lead, but that should be neutralized, and it is. If he gets out of here, yeah. That skid, you can't skid like that up there, Martin, at the top of the track when you're just trying to settle in. Keep your eyes on teams. That was late there. 600th back, 2nd best speed. Cody Bascu, I'm liking this.
Yeah.
He's way back now, so he's going to fall back behind Cody. Cody had a much better 2nd run.
Tidied it up now, but again, a little skid there into 15. That won't help the top speed. He's not going to come back from a 1/4 second down.
No, that's way off. As you can see, Cody went 20 hundredths or so faster. Lamindine went 2100 slower. Yeah. Related to the start, Martin, I'm sure they'll show us the start and the skid out of the drive lines. You got to be in and down, no movement before the driver gets his hands on those D-rings. Now watch the sled veer to the right here. See the nose is coming this way? The drive lines are over, and somebody, as they stepped in, some movement caused the sled to do that. That's like putting a parachute out. And then down here, well, that's not perfect. In fact, that's one of the bad exit, bad skid.
So Cody Bascu stays in the leader's box. Next up, 2 sleds covered by just 1/100th of a second. Roman Heinrich, Lionel Lefebvre, Thomas Delmestre, and Jérôme Laperal for France. They were in 18th after the first heat. And their advantage over Cody Bascu, 24/100ths of a second. So they need to at least perform as well as they did in the first run to hang on.
In down safely, yes. Start, really much better start than they had the first run. They had a 28 in the first run, so 22nd in the first race in Innsbruck, and then he finished 9th in the second, Martin. That's quite a turnaround.
Yeah.
Got a huge lead, 2800ths lead now over Cody Bascu. Most of that related to the start, where he was 400ths better both runs. Only the 2nd best velocity to Bascu, though. Now the best velocity. Ooh, tap. That's not good, but he'll be the leader going away. Much better run for the Frenchman. 54.81, yeah. 2100ths better.
Yeah. He does improve on his first heat.
They're close in the World Cup standings. Heinrich will pick up a few points and get a little closer, but Cody will still be ahead of him.
Yeah.
A little late, but does he steer away? Oh, this is hard to make these 4-mans get them in trouble, but when they get in trouble, remember Bascu's mistake there, he hitting the take-on, and Roman Heinrich exited out of there pretty good. Picked up a lot of time on the bottom, Martin.
Yeah, he did, didn't he? Light is fading here in Altenberg in Saxony, as we are 3 sleds into our field of 20. Final run of the weekend. Marcus Treichel, new boy Nick Compan, who makes his four-man World Cup debut, joining Marcus Gluck and Sebastian Mitterer in the crew. Started 200ths quicker than Heinrich, came down with 100th of an advantage. This is, to all intents, a dead heat.
In and down without a mishap, third best start, fourth best velocity, so no mistakes allowed. And he gets around that first curve with some steering.
Well, the French went 600ths faster at the start, John. The Austrians have just gone 100 slower, so they gave away 500ths that they didn't have as an advantage over Heinrich.
But he was only 700ths behind at that clock, so that is good, but that wasn't good. 1000ths behind, second best speed. Perfect line will give him a chance, and Roman Heinrich was really fast down here. Back to 6. No mistake here like Heinrich made. He's clean here, he's got a chance. He's got a chance.
1 kilometre an hour quicker than the Frenchman.
He's got a chance.
This should turn green at the line. He's level, he's ahead, 300ths.
Good driving. Roman Heinrich, or excuse me, Marcus Treichel on the bottom. There's some good driving that shows you can get rewarded on this track. You can't gain time on the way down, but you can prevent yourself from losing time. He found a lot of ways in the bottom to prevent himself from losing time.
How close is this race? He was 100th in front on one heat, John. He added 200ths on that heat.
He had a much better 9 to Kreisel. Here's where he made his time, Martin. Watch the back end here. A little bit of a tap here on the take on to 13. That didn't affect him too much. He was cleaner through 13, 14. He'll take that. Much better result.
Yeah, he dug the fat out of the fire. While Yun Jong-won in a tight battle as well. He was only 300ths behind youngster Patrick Baumgartner, who was tied with Francesco Friedli, I beg your pardon. Seaman Friedli even. Yun Jong-won have come having a dreadful time this afternoon. Yun Jong-won and Korea are Olympic silver medalist in four-man in Pyeongchang almost 4 years ago now.
Just is not getting the start times, Martin. 26, second best start. Now, best velocity though. You see that again. Keep your eyes. The best start doesn't mean you're going to have the best velocity. That's how those athletes get in the sled. We've already seen some mishaps up there as you get in the sled. He motored on the bottom part of the track in the first run, Martin.
Yeah, he sure did.
Not bad. 1300ths up, best speed. This is where you can tell, you know, an Olympic silver. He didn't become an Olympic silver medalist without having good eyes and hands, but he made a big mistake there. Down to 1100ths. It's got to be clean here, or it's got a 5. I don't think he's going to do it, Martin.
Treichel was close, isn't it?
Yeah, Treichel was good. No.
Wow.
Marcus Treichel with the better lines on the bottom part of the track, and you know, the Olympic silver medalist, Mr. Wong, just didn't have good lines on the exit of Kreisel down.
And he only had 500ths of a second advantage from the first heat, and that was not enough. Yeah.
Fell behind Heinrich too, so boy, just not a good start. 15th and 23rd. He didn't make the cut in the second race last week in Innsbruck.
No, I mean, that was a shock.
That was a shock. And then here, you know, he had a 15, 1800ths lead exit of Kreisel, and shows you what the track can do.
Although you look at his starts, 21st start out of 23 sleds in the first heat. When he won that silver medal in the Olympics, he was starting top 3 starts. That's a big difference. So, Marcus Treichel of Austria leads by 300ths after 5 sleds from Roman Heinrich of France. Patrick Baumgartner of Italy has just 800ths in the bank over the current leader. And that is not a very great deal.
That start the first run was good for the Italians. They always had, you know, in recent years, not very good starts. 23, best velocity, great load into the sled. Obviously, got a lot of dry land training. And Baumgartner had his best two-man result yesterday, Mark. But he wasn't driving an Italian red sled. He was driving a rented Belgian sled. And Wouldn't be surprised if they purchased that sled and it's red by the time we see it next week.
Well, perversely, if he borrowed the other Belgian sled, Anne van Nieuwenhuis's regular one, it's a much deeper red than this, but it would have confused us a lot longer. Well, he had a great run yesterday, as you say, and that must give him so much confidence. Fourth best speed, he's still in the lead by a quarter of a second.
A lot of time he's got here, Martin.
Yeah, he does.
Another good run for Baumgartner. This is a good weekend for this athlete.
He could move up again.
Really?
This could be a top 12 finish.
59. Wow, Mark, 2400's better. Danny Mahado, the German coach.
Listen to them.
Look at these guys. They got something to celebrate. Personal best.
You can hear them coming a long way away.
Baumgartner just been around for a decade. He just hasn't had any results, Martin. And now we're starting to see some creep up the leaderboard. Look how low he is. I mean, he's 6'2". Look how low he is. Barely got his eyes above the cowling. This wasn't a bad exit, just on the wrong side of the straightaway to going into 15. Personal best.
World Cup result, a 10th place in Winterberg. That is a good run from him. He was tied to the 100th with Simon Friedli of Switzerland. Friedli's got Adrian Fessler, Dominik Schlepfer and Andreas Haas behind him. So the Swiss shuffling around the brakemen in the two-man sleds. They're working around the crews in four-man as well, keeping them all fit, race-ready and healthy.
See how quickly these guys get in and get down.
One again.
Best start, second best velocity. Okay, now no skidding up here allowed. Gets through 1 and 2, okay. Omega, does he hit the wall on the right? No. But he's got red numbers already, Martin. Oh, there's 100th up. But he had the best start. He should be up 500-600s here. The next clock with that better velocity at the start. 800s, that's relative to the start. Now his second best speed. Let's see what he does in the bottom part of this challenging track. Doing well.
Ooh, little mistake there though, the gap will come down to single digits maybe, no. Hanging on to that speed.
He's on pace, he's doing well. This was a better run. 54, 55, wow, Martin, he's 3,800s better. Are they driving better, or is the track getting faster? I think
this place really changes a lot, doesn't it? And I think you're right. As the temperature comes out of the air, the track is just speeding up. Patrick Baumgartner, though, won previous World Cup race on this track, 21st place. Today, he'll be no worse than 15th. That is a big weekend in Altenberg for Baumgartner.
PBs, personal bests, that's all you want to do. You might not be able to win medals, but you want to do better than you've ever done before. You want to beat people that you haven't beaten before. And if you walk out of here with a positive attitude, you beat the track, you've done well.
Yeah, especially here. There's Friedli, good second heat from him. And that puts pressure on the man in front of him, Mihai Tentea of Romania, with Raul Dobra, Ciprian Darochi, Christian Radu. They have an 1100ths of a second advantage, but he's going to need a good second heat to stay in front of Simon Friedli.
Only the 15th best start, 26. Let's watch them get in and get down with cat-like movement. Not bad. 24, third best velocity, so really good entry into the sled. And this is the shortest driver in the competition. Maybe has the biggest quads, but Martin, is he the youngest driver in the field? I think he is. Yeah,
I think he is, yeah. Younger than Baumgartner, even.
Baumgartner's been around a long time. This kid's been around 4 years, and he's like 22. 1100s back, third best speed. It's doable, but you need perfecto down here. 11 to 11.
It's going to be a challenge.
Yeah.
He should be ahead of Patrick Baumgartner. Does he stay in front of Simon Friedli to stay
I don't think so.
in 13th place?
Could drop 2 spots here.
Yeah, he could do. It's going to be very close.
Yeah,
and he is 200s behind Baumgartner. So the Swiss stay in the leader's box.
Still This Romanians do so much with so little. 16th and 15th in the first two events. He'll be better than that, though, in this race.
54.82 in the first heat, 54.82 in the second heat.
Yeah, when the other sleds are going faster.
Yeah.
Where's his mistake? This didn't help, but this wasn't the reason. And that might have prevented him from beating Baumgartner.
Yeah. Stops you accelerating as you come up the hill there. So 8 sleds down, 12 to go. Seaman Friedli, third from the left there, is our race leader. There's Mihai Tenteer offering his congratulations. Next up, Chris Spring, first out of the start shed this morning, or this afternoon even. Mike Evelyn behind him, new boy to the sport, joined Spring when he returned from retirement a couple of seasons back. Sam Giguère was in the last Olympic quad. Cody Sorensen, who said this morning, he last raced back in 2014.
Mike Evelyn is an electrical engineer. He's another one of them guys we classify as too smart to be in this sport.
We heard from Christine de Bruyn this morning saying really good to have Lyndon Rush back on the coaching crew this year. Rush didn't travel to Europe last season, and I think they all kind of missed him. She was saying the kit is fully on spec, the driving is good, they have their full support team here. They're all ready for the Olympics. Fourth best speed, he's still got the lead, but it's coming down.
Yeah, he's doing well now, best speed down here. This, right here in this part of the tracks where he had this horrific crash in 2010, November 2010, put him out of the sport for a couple of years. Yep. Amazing, no cobwebs for him, comes back, had a great two-man day yesterday, top 5, 54, 55, 1800s better. Chris Spring can drive a bobsled.
And again, listen to the crew, they're loving that. 54.55, same as Seaman Friedli, but they started at 19. That's what Graham Richardson was shouting to them. Well done, buddy, says Sam Giguère.
Sam Giguère played a lot of CFL football, been a veteran of the team, good to see him back. Nothing like having experienced professional athletes behind you on a four-man.
Cody Sorensen, who was the last person to step away from any sport for 7 seasons and come back at this level? I mean, that's an astonishing deal, you know. Anyway, next up, Brad Hall. This is where we get into our group of sleds that are basically battling for the bronze and silver medals. Brad Hall, Taylor Lawrence, Nick Gleason, Greg Cackett, 6,600s back. Oh, they can't be in the battle. Well, silver is 3,600s back from the leader. So we've got 10 sleds covered by 3 tenths. We could see a lot of change-up.
This is a really good starting team, 5-12. Yeah. They had the second best start in the first two, but they skidded up here, Martin, in the first run. Brad Hall puts it in. He won a silver medal in the first event in Innsbruck, had the 11th best in the second race, and he had a bad first heat. So he's got a chance here to move up. And that's start.
And that's the consistency that is the cornerstone of a good career, isn't it?
Yeah, consistency is the cornerstone of any career in any sport.
Yeah. Good speed.
Especially 19, now losing some time back, 7th best speed. Needs to be perfect here, Martin.
And this is where we went way down at the bottom. They were losing speed all the way down from the Kreisel.
Should be enough, single digits.
It's a clean run. He's going to have the lead, but he's not going to move up much, is he? He gave away 300s there off his previous advantage over Chris Spring.
A little bit better, only 700s, but lost a lot of time on the bottom. But Martin, he doesn't have as much experience as most of these top four-man drivers in the four-man.
Very true.
I mean, another decathlete in the front seat of a bobsled. Look, you can't see that left hand of his, got a big scar on it from a big crash in Whistler that sort of set him back for a couple years, Martin, but he's on pace now to be a guy who challenged at the Olympic Games. He was a silver medal in the two-man event in Yangqing. Four-man event didn't do as well, but...
Is he limping there? He's had a lot of injuries over the last couple of seasons, leg-wise, ankle-wise. Brad Hall, the leader by 500s. Chris Spring, Seaman Friedley lie second and third. 10 down, 10 to go here in Altenberg. Well, there's a view of the old-style scoreboard. Doesn't light up anymore, which is a real huge shame. That would just be great for the fans. Obviously, there aren't any here this weekend. We're racing behind closed doors. Well, there's Brad, not looking 100%, I have to say. Yeah.
What's that about?
Right ankle, right calf, right foot. I'm not sure. And we will wait and catch up with them in the next couple of days.
Well,
so
you know, he's a decathlete. Martin, he's a decathlete. And that's my athlete of choice in the sport. Because what do the decathletes have to do? They have to fight through everything to get through 10 races in 2 days, 10 competitions. And the last day is the mile, and they're all taped up. And it's just, you know, mind over matter to finish that event, which is what bobsledding is. By the time they get to February, these guys are pretty nicked up.
Yeah.
You know, they're not only nicked up, but they've gone through flu. Everybody in that start house has got a flu, and it's a breeding ground for, for anybody else to catch it. And so you gotta be physically strong, mentally tough. You know, this sport is a drain on your body.
And to see some of these athletes that are in the sled week in, week out, season in, season out, almost with no break, it's just astonishing. And so much of that is the backup, the support, the physio, the physical training that they do summer and winter to keep their bodies working. Well, Brad Hall, Chris Spring, Seaman Friedley, the top three. As we get into our top 10 sleds, all up for grabs. All potentially apart from the gold medal. Well, there is Brad out of the spikes. Yeah, he's not great, is he? Gets the big hug from Greg Cackett in the leaders box. Great Britain are race leaders as 10 sleds are down, 10 to go in Altenberg. Team Kiebermanis, Oskars Kiebermanis, the driver, Dove Springs, Lars Kaufmannis, and behind him, Intas Dambis. Well, these guys have been on the podium here before now, but are they going to even move up the order here?
Yeah, 4th best, 5th best velocity. You know, Martin, I was on them in the first heat. I was on them in the 2-man competition. They won a medal last week at 4-man in the second 4-man race in Innsbruck, but this is one of our top athletes. He shouldn't be back in this part of the field. And what's the experience on his team, Martin? This is one of the most experienced teams in the competition.
Absolutely. Bronze medalists in the last World Cup race here. Didn't make a medal in either the 2 World Championship races in February or a year ago, February. Best speed so far, but he's going to need it. He's behind Brad Hall. There's only 500s back to Chris Spring. He's got enough, has he?
Don't know.
Gonna be close, isn't it? Very close. The Great Britain sled didn't have the speed at the bottom, but they hang on, top 10.
Beat Spring by 4. Sanders Cruz is the veteran coach of that Latvian team. I'm sure is a little perplexed. Or he's telling his team, we're not peaking in December. We're gonna peak in February. And this guy here is a threat. You know, they've got everything. They got the equipment.
Well, they need the start. And right now, you know, they're starting 13th, 14th. Oh, that's not going to cut it.
Yeah, and they have the best, one of the best starts, Martin. Hey, we got to breach out again. This small little nation in the sliding sports, it's unbelievable. 2 million people, and they win medals in all the disciplines. Well, yesterday they won a luge men's singles event, first time ever in the history of Latvia. They did that on the Olympic track in Sochi.
Well, the story for the delight from Brad Hall and his crew, not just a top 10 finish, but their best World Cup results so far in Altenberg. They've had a 14th and a 13th, and they lead as we get to, incredibly, Hansi Lochner in 9th. And Hansi with just 700s in the bank. He can't give that away, surely.
You know, they had a bad, slow 5:13 both runs, but they had the best velocity. So they made a mistake in the first heat at the start, but then Hansi made 2 or 3 driving errors down here, including right here on the exit of this curve. This time is perfect. He should grow this up to 15 or 20. It's only 400s. He should be better than that, Martin, with that start time. So
that's not a big advantage.
This is better than his first heat, up to 9, best speed. But we expect all these numbers. He should be
but
back
not at
here.
the bottom of the top 10, no, exactly. And that shows what the first heat was like.
He gets through here. Very 3,200's huge mistake there.
Huge lead, huge speed.
What a
Well, he
difference
should
from the
move up
first
2
to
or
the
3
second
spots.
heat.
Yeah, 54.28.
He's only 30 hundredths better. 54.28.
That would have left him
second.
Which is where he should have been.
Yes. So,
and okay, the track might be a little quicker now than it was for a couple of the sleds that have just gone by, but that's what Lochner should be doing, what he can do on this track. He's won here, he was the silver medalist in the World Championships and the bronze medalist this year in February.
Second in both runs in races in Innsbruck, second on the pre-Olympic event in Yanqing. Skid there.
The story yesterday in the two-man, by the way, John, caught up with that from Angie, is that he'd left his helmet on a radiator to keep it warm, and there's a double layered visor. The inside layer had come off, and that's what stops it fogging up. So it fogged up the moment he closed the visor. He said we had a few scary moments at the top until he could crack it open. So he couldn't see down through corners 4, 5. That's not ideal. Well, Hansi Lochner leads. Hansi Lochner leads, but only 100th ahead of him was the Czech Republic's Dominik Dvořák, who in turn is 100th behind Germany's Christoph Hafer. Will either of them be able to hold off Lochner's charge up the order? Let's see.
12th best start. Oh, there's a problem. They're done now. He's done.
Yeah.
Skid. He just, you know, he's going to drop a number of spots.
Avoided the wall. That's similar mistake to Lochner in the first heat.
Yeah. He was so perfect in the first heat at the start. Efficient, had a great drive down the track. Now he's a quarter second back. Now the question is, can he hold on to 1 or 2 places? Martin, he drove as good as anybody in the first heat. Another decathlete here in the front seat. Perfect lines. 4,200's back, 7th best speed. He's going to drop 3 or 4 spots, Martin.
Yes, he is.
Boy, oh boy. The start. Doesn't matter.
It's not everything here, but it gives you the speed you need for the rest of the run. He drops 4 spots.
So Lochner's on a mission. Lochner could pick off a couple more, but I feel sorry for Dvořák and the Czech team. They're 3 or 4 kilometers from the Czech border, Martin. It's almost like their home track, and they just ran too far.
We're so close that actually occasionally we'll go to the Czech Republic to a restaurant for dinner because it's not that much of a drive.
Yeah, watch this. Watch the drive lines on your right. Now watch this. He got in too late there. That last step caused the sled to skid. Oh, the push bar didn't hit. Look at that skidding down the track.
Oh, man.
Yeah. You know, that's the cohesion of a 4-man bobsled start. It's called, you know, choreography on ice. You got to be perfect. That wasn't perfect.
Well, Hell's Bells might be the expression from Dominik Dvořák, but it's the walk-on music for this man, Christoph Hafer of Germany, with Michael Salzer, Christian Hammers, and Tobias Schneider on the sled behind him.
He's going to get blown up at the start. 23 in the first run, 10th best, and his teammate is 10/100ths better. They're down quickly, good, efficient load. 5th best, 4th best velocity, so mission accomplished there. Good driver, Martin.
Yeah, had 200s.
He's one of the
had 200s in hand. But that's all gone. His lead over Lochner is now a 1,300 deficit.
That's the start relation, though. He can neutralize that. 1,300 to the next clock, he's got a chance.
The problem is he has to outdrive Hansi comprehensively, and Lochner had the best speed there.
Now he just wants, he's just way back, Martin.
Yeah, no, he is going to slide down the order, isn't he? How far back will he be?
2 spots.
Well, Lochner moves up. Is Brad Hall going to move up as well? Oh, second place. Yeah, a 10th ahead of Brad Hall. He rescued it at the bottom there, but
on
for
the
a
bottom.
moment, yeah.
Yeah, good driving in the bottom because he was falling off the mark.
So they start 5:20 and a 54.57 run. They slip a spot, but that was probably not a surprise. More of a surprise that he was behind Lochner ahead of Lochner in the first place in Heat 1.
Not very good speed in the Kreisel, Martin. So, you know, I don't know where the mistake was made. Those are decent lines. But on the bottom, yeah, this is where he saved himself. He only lost to Lochner. He shouldn't be behind Lochner anyways with that start deficiency.
Okay, 6 to go, and we get to our top Swiss sled of the first heat, Michael Vogt. Well, this is the position he was in yesterday, ahead of teammate Simon Friedli. It wasn't that far ahead, it was only a couple of spots. He's considerably ahead in this four-man race, but he slipped behind Friedli. Now what he wants to do is stay in front of his teammate. Advantage over Lochner from the first heat, only 500s, John. He's going to have to do really well to hold on.
Yeah, and he's already got beat up at the start by 900s. So that's going to grow that deficiency. Good lines, good load. You know, now he's got to be perfect. You know, it's tough to hit a home run every time you come to bat on this track. But 1300, that's not bad, Martin, considering the start deficiency. That's not bad. Those are perfect lines. He's lost, but he's got the second best speed, so good driver, this young Swiss pilot, especially with the start deficiency.
Still got great speed. Second place,
hustle.
third
place. Have to hustle to drop 2 spots, maybe.
Yeah, ahead of Brad Hall, he'll be third at the line. It's going to be close.
No!
Oh, 2 400s ahead of Harper.
He's salvaged.
Yeah.
Dropping 1 spot. You know, and Martin,
it's that clean exit out of 14 that just gives you like turbo afterburn for the line.
9th and 10th at the 2 events in Innsbruck. Today he'll be in the top 7. Personal best of the season. This, you know, this track's about driving. Those are some great lines there. That's what salvaged his spot, Martin. He could have fallen a couple more spots quickly. I mean,
yeah.
There's, you know, 3 sleds behind him, a 10th back.
Well, he's only ever raced here in the World Championships. He was 9th 2 years ago, 13th this year. So he will be no worse than 7th. That's big improvement. Hansi Lochner leads, 15 down, 5 to go. It's medal time here in Altenberg. Lochner leads, Justin Cripps, Ryan Summer, Ben Coatwell and Cam Stones for Canada. 5th after the first heat. Their advantage over the German who leads just 500ths of a second. And the gap to a medal, only 800ths of a second.
17th start, 100th loose, but the 7th best velocity. So Cripps is going to have to hit a triple at least to stay on top of the leaderboard. He's down by 2. That's not bad. That's
Canada's Christine de Bruyne came from 4th into the medals in the women's race this morning. Decent run from Cripps so far.
Second best. This is doable.
Yeah.
Perfect lines.
Lochner had top speed.
Lost more time. He's hanging in. Great lines, just losing time. Gonna drop at least 1.
And he does. 400s behind Lochner. Lochner still leads with 4 to go. This is quite a comeback from Hansi Lochner.
Well, when you do as bad as he did in the first run, it's easy to make a comeback with a good second run. You know, Cripps gave it all, 1400s better.
Yeah.
Veteran crew. Ryan Summers, the only real newbie in this quad. Coakwell and Stones have been around. Not much you can fault with those lines. This flat black sled makes me think of Steve Holcomb in the Night Train.
All right, Hansi Lochner, Justin Cripps, Mikkel Vogt, the leaders, 4 to go. Does Cripps get a medal? Does Lochner get a medal? There's Hansi on the right.
I think Hansi's still got a chance.
He does. Not a big chance because there's not too many in front like giving things away. But what about Maxim Andrianov? 1300s ahead. That might not be enough. Alexei Zaitsev is at 2, Vasily Kondratchenko at 3. Igor Gryaznov is the man in the middle at the back.
Going to get crushed here at the start. 25 in the first run. Hansi had a 13. These guys need to improve. 24 or 23. There's the 23. 10th best start. 7th velocity. So the team did its job. They got him the sled. Andrianov is a much better four-man pilot, Martin.
Yep. Having his best four-man race in a long while as well here.
Only 400s. Now that needs to, if he gets out to 6 or 7, it's okay. If he gets out to double digits, he's in trouble. There's double digits. 10th best speed. If I'm Hansi Lochner, I'm liking what I'm seeing.
Yeah, I'm afraid he's going down, isn't he? This is not going at all well.
Yeah, now he's going to drop at least 2, maybe 3 spots. Ooh, that's not, no, he's going to drop maybe 4 spots, Mark.
10th and 8th so far this season. He was 6th in Beijing, but he drops by a quarter second behind.
2100 slow. When Hansi went 3400s faster. So he dropped 3 spots behind the Swiss, the Canadians. And Hansi's got 1 more person to overcome.
Well, this is kind of where Andrianov's been. The last 4 World Cup races from 2015, his first one here, 7th, 9th, 7th, and then 5th in 2019.
So pretty much chalk for him, but
yeah,
good first run.
Yeah, that's about par, isn't it? Yeah, good first run, gave him a hope of a medal till his young teammate came along and just snuck in front by a few hundreds. So Lochner leads with 3 to go. Last week, Rostislav Gajtukovic claimed his 2nd career medal in World Cup racing in the 2-man. Snuck into the medals. Let's see if he can do it for the first time ever in 4-man. Mikhail Mordasov, Vladislav Zhovtsev, and Pavel Travkin behind him. Started 5:15 in the first heat, 5:12.
Yeah, but the 4th best velocity, they had some stability issues there coming out of the grooves.
All right.
Great start.
He's got a good start, but he makes his money, John, on being a driver.
Definitely emerged as a threat at the Olympic Games. 3rd in the 2-man test over in Yangqing, 6th in the 4-man. Ooh, 16, the speed's going to be important. Not very good speed.
Not good.
Lochner
was the quickest
made a living
all the way down.
1100s, 5th best speed, a little bit improvement.
What about Cripps? Cripps is 2nd, only 400s back.
It's right to the 100.
Oh my goodness, could he be in the 4-man medals here in Altenberg? That would be a huge result. He is in the 4-man medals. His first ever 4-man medal guaranteed.
Hey, listen to him celebrate, Martin.
And the first to offer the high five is Hansi Lochner.
First ever medals for this guy. Double medal this weekend.
Yeah.
This is a rising star here.
And moved from bronze to silver in the 2-man.
Let's see what they do here. There's a little variance. Watch the sled. Look at that little skip there out of the. They got away with that, Martin.
Was that him grabbing the D-rings? I just wonder if he just grabbed the right one just a fraction before the left. But the Germans give him the high five. They all know what that feels like. Hansi especially. Your first ever medal in 4-man. Yeah.
Look at that camaraderie in our sport.
Well, nominally, you're racing each other. Actually, you're racing yourself on the track, so they all get it. Benny Meyer then, silver medal position after the first heat. There's a lot to defend here, and only a 500th of a second advantage. Sasha, Stepan, Marcus Sammer, Christian Huber. Can they duck under a 5:20 to give him another fraction of a second?
18. 200's better. Hey, 5th best start, 4th velocity. They did the same in the first run. Last year's World Championship silver medalist. He's got the eyes and hands. It's up to him now. Even 100th. He's good speed in the first heat, Martin.
Gonna need it here, isn't he? That's a great exit out of 9.
4th, 3rd best velocity.
Better speed. Still close. This is anyone's
800,
medal.
he's pulling away. Only a bad exit here at 14, Martin, could be the difference right here.
Don't even.
Not bad.
Gets it into
Chalk
15. Here we go, silver medal for Benny Meyer. All the way to the line. So, big result for the Austrians. Benny Meyer, silver medal.
Gerhard Rainer, Wolfgang Stampfer, celebrating those coaches' box. Listen to him.
Silver medalist here in February in the World Championships. Silver medalist here in December in the World Cup.
4th and 5th on his home track in Innsbruck the last 2 races. This is a driver's track. This is where you can hide a deficient start. Look at his eyes. Watch the runner tips here, Martin. Feathered that away from the wall.
Well, he's only 600s away from the fastest start of the competition so far. That's a good start from the crew. But now I'm just putting this out there. The last few starts have been 200 or 300s quicker. Francesco started 5:06 in the first heat. The start record is 5:01. We won't get a track record today. Will we get a start record? No, 5:06, away they go.
They don't need to try a start record. They've got 4/10. The only thing the start record could do is make one of them fall on the sled. This is like a victory lap. 4/10 lead, Martin.
That's not how they drive. They go for the records every single day of their lives.
Look how much he's ahead. This is a sport measured to hundreds of seconds. This is the...
And for a good reason. 6,500
heat of bobsledding.
Wow.
16 heats of bobsled, Martin. He's going to win 14 of the 16. This one he's going to win going away. Like,
doesn't have the best speed.
It's ridiculous. He's going to be 3/4 of a second ahead.
3rd straight win of the season for Francesco Friedrich with a 57.97, 200s, 53.97, 200s quicker than his first heat.
Another decathlete, Martin, comes to the finish with gold.
Well, that
just
is
another
his
day at the office.
fifth win on this track. 2 of them were World Championships. And Francesco Friedrich, again, they strive, as everybody does, for perfection every day. They just get a little closer.
Waves
and
to
this
the crowd
is his
not there.
home track. No, well, he misses that as much as everybody. The track workers know him well, he knows them. The crowd know him well. And if they were here, this place would be rocking from the rafters. There's Alexander Schuller. Another medal for the younger man in the team.
Martin, there's no arrogance on this very successful athlete. This guy is as kind.
4-man World Cup win.
He's as kind to the worst. He's as kind to the guy he narrowly beats. He's a one-of-a-kind person. Besides being the greatest of all time.
These guys,
the greatest of all time in our sport. In a 4-heat race, Martin, he'd be over 2 seconds. He'd be a second, 6/10 maybe ahead. That's unbelievable. Second. To win by 10, 15 hundredths a heat's one thing. He's winning by 30 hundredths a heat.
So 2/3 of a second ahead of Benny Meyer, and Rostislav Gajtukovic takes the bronze medal just ahead of Hansi Lochner, Justin Cripps and Mikkel Vogt. 6th place for him. Brad Hall in 9th, ahead of Oscar's Kima Manis. Maxim Anjanov slipping away from 4th down to 7th. Chris Spring in 11th place, good run from him. From Patrick Baumgartner in 14th, his previous best was a 21st here. Mihai Tentia 15th, I think that's a PB as well. And Cody Bascu and Lamin Dean round out the top 20 of our field. But the man at the top of the pile, John, as we have come to see so often, Francesco Friedrich.
Just another day at the office. I said that a number of times. But you know, there's so many opportunities for disaster to happen on a track like this.
That is World Cup medal number, do you want to have a guess? Pick a number.
52?
Pick a ridiculous. 90. World
90.
Cup medal number 90 in 2 and 4 man for Francesco Friedrich. And his perfect season continues. 3 wins in 2 man are now joined by 3 wins in 4 man. Benny Meyer up to 2nd in the points, Hansi Lochner 3rd, Rostislav Gajtukovic 4th, tying with Justin Cripps. Keeper Manis in 6th position. He slipped down, he slipped down overnight from 2nd, Oscar's Keeper Manis. So that is it for our first visit of the year to Altenberg in Germany. Next weekend, we are in Winterberg in the Hochsauerland. Skeleton on Friday, men and women. Saturday, Monobob and 2-man. And Sunday, as ever, the women's bob in the morning and the 4-man in the afternoon. Until then, on behalf of the IBSF TV crew, for John Morgan, I'm Martin Haven saying thank you for joining us. We will see you in a week in Winterberg. The Dutch Alps await. We'll see you then. Bye for now.
Auf Platz 3. Aber es hat ihn gezogen, den Bob rein. 14er sind schon über. Nach vorn. Und auch eine sehr gute schon im Vierer.
Ja. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Okay, gratuliere zum Podium. Das war eine lange Zeit her. Was war die Schlüssel zu diesem Erfolg?
Ja, wir haben im Sommer sehr gut gearbeitet. Wir haben im Vorfeld das Material getestet. Und in Igels ist es noch nicht ganz aufgegangen. Und jetzt haben wir gesagt, wir machen das Setup wie letztes Jahr. Und das ist eine Bahn, die wir sehr gern mögen. Und ja, also unglaublich.
Ja, er waren einige Probleme am Start, aber die Rennen sind sehr gut. Wie ist mit dem Formkurve?
Ja, die Formkurve stimmt. Wir haben natürlich das große Ziel, die Olympischen Spiele vor Augen und nehmen die Weltcups, sag ich mal, mehr oder weniger nur mit. Aber ich denke, heute haben wir gezeigt, dass wir in der Bahn ganz vorne mit dabei sind. Am Start merke ich doch noch ein bisschen die Rückenprobleme. Da muss ich mit Handbremse starten, aber selbst für das sind die Startzeiten unglaublich stark. Und das lässt uns auf was sehr Positives hoffen in der zweiten Saisonhälfte.
Ja. Altenberg ist ein sehr schwieriges Eiskanal. Gibt es einen Moralboost für den Rest der Saison?
Ja, klar. Also, wir haben in Igels mit dem 4. Platz ganz knapp das Podium verpasst. 2. Woche 5. Platz. jetzt waren wir hungrig, haben gesagt, da, also wenn dann in Altenberg und da wieder Zweiter zu werden, so wie letztes Jahr bei der WM ist ein unglaublich gutes Gefühl und jetzt freuen wir uns auf das Doppel-Vierer-Rennen in Winterberg.
Sehr gut. Was sind die Erwartungen für Winterberg?
Ich denke, dass wir einfach in der Formkurve weitergehen. Wenn das so weiterläuft, dann sind wir sicher immer in Schlagweite zum Podium und am Podium. Und ja, also ich sag Richtung Jänner werden wir versuchen, den Franz da vorne ein bisschen mehr zu sigieren.
Ja. Und dann haben Sie gefahren mit einem schwarzen Helm. Vielleicht bringt das Glück?
Nein, der andere Helm ist etwas zu groß und bei den schweren Kurvenfolgen hier habe ich im Training eine leichte Gehirnerschütterung gehabt oder leicht Kopfweh und habe deswegen im Rennen noch schnell den Helm gewechselt.
Okay, gratuliere und vielen Dank.
Danke.
Hey guys, you hear me?
Yeah. Hey, Martin.
Okay, I hear me too. Okay. Francesco Frigic, congratulations. Victory here in the four-man in Altenberg and a big margin, over 0.6 of a second.
Yeah, we had two great runs, I think. In the first run, we make a great step from the back of the field with the starting number 12. We did good pushing. We have nearly really good lines, and the material is, good in shape, I think. And so this is possible on our home track, and we are very happy with that.
And this is the track where you had your first ever four-man win back in 2015. That must seem like a long time ago.
Yeah. It took so much time to get the first four-man World Cup, and we did it first time here. Yeah, that is a long time ago, but we think of that like it was yesterday, and it was a crazy week. All my brakemen was injured, and we had rent Martin Putzer. It was his first time to push on the side, and we did the race here. It was another fantastic race here in Altenberg.
So now Winterberg next weekend, it's going to be very busy for the four-man crews.
Yeah, we are happy that we can drive 1 week only four-man. That is perfect, that's cool. And four-man makes so much fun. And we have 10 more runs next week in another home track of us. It would be a good week.
All right, gentlemen, congratulations on a very good weekend here in the home ice, and you'll be back home in 2 weeks' time.
See you next week. Bye-bye.
Thank you.
Ja, bei mir war es 4 Themen, ja. Das macht bei dir irgendwie weh. Nee, du hast so ein zartes Gesicht. Lieber Radfahren, lieber.
Hervorragend, Almost. Ich stelle mich dann immer hier hinten, wo ich kein Gefährder neben mir habe.
Eine Minute. Ja. Dann ist Siegerehrung. Machst du doch nicht. Also wir fangen mit der Siegerehrung an. Also sind alle da, Österreich da, Deutschland da. Alle da. Russen da? Ja. Nee, also dann sagen wir Siegerehrung und dann machen wir Grüne. Ja, wie ist das denn?
So, es sind alle da, damit können wir zur Tat schreiten. Wir kommen also zur finalen Siegerehrung hier bei diesem Bob- und Skeleton-Weltcup-Wochenende. Die Siegerehrung in der Vierer-Bob-Entscheidung. Ladies and gentlemen, now attention please for the victory ceremony of the four-man bobsleigh competition. So, same procedure as every time, also das gleiche Prozedere. Als erstes möchte ich Ihnen natürlich diejenigen vorstellen, die die Siegerehrung durchführen werden. First of all, I want to introduce the person who carry out the victory ceremony. Das ist zum einen Jost Mattli, herzlich willkommen, der Koordinator, also der IBSF im Bereich Bob, the chief of the coordination team, der IBSF Bobsleigh. Und als zweiten begrüße ich noch einmal recht herzlich Herrn Jens Morgenstern, den OK-Chef. Jens Morgenstern, the Chief of the Organization Committee. So, nun wollen wir natürlich diejenigen hier ehren, die es verdient haben. Wir kommen zur Siegerehrung und da beginnen wir mit Platz 3, Third Place. Bronzemedaille, the Bronze Medal. Representing Russia, Team Rostislav Gajtukevich. Congratulations, mit dabei Michail Mordasov, Wladislav Zarovtsev und Pavel Trafkin. Und weiter geht's mit Rang 2, Second Place, Silbermedaille, Silver Medal, representing Austria aus Österreich, Team Benjamin Meyer. Mit Sascha Stepan, Markus Sammer und Christian Huber. So, und nun die strahlenden Sieger. Wir kommen zu den Erstplatzierten. Die Goldmedaille, the Gold Medal, goes to Germany, Team Francesco Friedrich. Mit Thorsten Magges, Kenny Bauer und Alexander Schiller haben sie sich also erneut wieder hier den Sieg geholt in Altenberg. Und da gibt es natürlich die entsprechenden Medaillen für die besten 3 Teams. Francesco Friedrich, ich hatte es ja schon gesagt, 3 Rennen bisher, alle gewonnen im Zweier und auch im Vierer. Ist also bisher sehr gut unterwegs in dieser Olympiasaison. Richtung Olympische Winterspiele im Februar 2022 in Peking. Bitte nicht verletzen. Ja, noch ein paar Rennen für euch. So, die Medaillen sind umgehangen und damit, meine Damen und Herren, Aufmerksamkeit bitte für die deutsche Nationalhymne. Attention please for the national anthem of Germany. National für das Siegerteam und jetzt die Möglichkeit natürlich noch die Präsente sich zu schnappen. So, the presents are for you. You can pick up your presents. Und damit natürlich auch hoffentlich ein Stück Erinnerung mit nach Hause nehmen bezüglich dieser Wettbewerbe dieses Bobsleigh-Weltcups in Altenberg. In 14 Tagen ist es ja erneut soweit. So, und nun nochmal die Gelegenheit auch für die Fotografen, ihre Bilder in den Kasten zu bekommen. Also, die strahlenden besten 3 Teams. Und Franz, das war, glaube ich, Weltcup-Sieg Nummer 20 im Vierer. Franz, war das der 20.? Ich glaube, hier bin ich, genau. Jetzt mach mich kleiner als ich bin. 18, ja, ich dachte, weil im Wikipedia steht 19 drin. 25, aber 25 hat André lange gehabt, ne?
Gestern stand auf 40, Zweier. Der letzte. Dann müssen wir 18 sein.
Ach, hör doch auf, dann ist es halt so. Jedenfalls 58 Weltcup-Titel hat er sich jetzt schon geschnappt. Ja, also wir sagen Dankeschön für die tollen Leistungen. Wir wünschen alles Gute, good luck for the future. In 2 weeks we see you again hier in Altenberg. Bis dahin wünschen wir natürlich weiterhin Gesundheit, tolle Erfolge. Ja, und jetzt noch einen schönen Abend und ein bisschen gefeiert kann ja vielleicht auch werden. Zumindest mit den entsprechenden Abstandsregeln. Also, Dankeschön, Applaus bitte, meine Damen und Herren. Give a big hand, please, for the 3 teams of the 4-man bobsleigh competition at this Bobsleigh Skeleton World Cup weekend. Thank you for coming. See you in 2 weeks again. Innerlich, ja, das ist die innere Freude.